Talk about nostalgia. The Air Raiders win in the first round of the TBT, and let me tell you what, Red Raider Nation had all the feels. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast, and in today's video, well, we have to discuss the Air Raiders, all the nostalgia they brought back to the USA, and it wasn't just them on the floor. It was a lot of guys off the floor, including Jarrett Culver and multiple other Texas Tech men's basketball alumni that were there to support their guys. But we'll talk about what went down and just really what went down on Twitter and social media and just watching this game in Red Raider Nation and making people remember some of the best moments in Texas Tech men's basketball history. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay in the know on Texas Tech athletics all year long. We're giving you daily updates on football, men's basketball, and even the Air Raiders, as long as they continue their journey in the TBT. But before we get into a little bit more of this in terms of, well, I got to give Grant McCasland a shout out here later on because he is a very, very smart man. Give me your one word to describe night one of the Air Raiders in the TBT at the USA. Just so much nostalgia. I mean, that's probably my word, but I want to hear from you guys because last night was literally one of those moments where I couldn't help but smile, right? Like from so many standpoints, just as a Texas Tech alumni, right? Regardless of the media aspect of this for me, just from an alumni and fan perspective, like switching sides to that, just unbelievable type stuff last night. But let's talk about what this means for Texas Tech men's basketball in today's video as well. But again, you win last night. It was first to 83 after the Elam rule. Texas Tech won last night against the Purple Hearts. They'll move on to face Team Enchantment, who took out Austin's own, the UT team. And Enchantment, they are the New Mexico team, combination of New Mexico State and the Lobos on that team as well. But they'll face off against the Red Raiders and the Air Raiders, I should say, on Friday night at the USA, July 21st. Tip-off is scheduled for 8 p.m. at the USA. Get your tickets. They're trying to sell out the lower bowl down there and get 10,000 people for that game. But if you can't make it, you can watch it on ESPN Plus as well. But I really wanted to make today's video for two main reasons. The main reason being this, nostalgia, first and foremost. Holy crap, how cool is it to see Matt Mooney throw a lob to Tariq Owens, make Todrick Gocher make a jumper back in the USA. John Roberson, right? Just absolutely being a veteran and just bringing that nostalgia feel. And then even Jordan Tolbert, right? Still got some buddies. You got Davide Moretti out there. I feel like I shouldn't name anybody else because I feel if I forget somebody else, it's kind of disrespectful. But it was so much fun to watch them play last night. And I think another cool aspect of the TBT being in Lubbock, right, is this. You get to see a lot more of these guys come back than just the guys on the floor, right? And they talked about it during the broadcast last night that Texas Tech wanted to have two TBT teams. They just didn't have enough guys to do it. So instead they made a super team, right? But you get a lot of guys back in this in terms of coming back, surrounding themselves around the program. And I don't think it can be understated, right? How important that is to have guys like Jarrett Culver, like Zaire Smith, like Adonis Arms, guys on the teams in Tariq Owens, Matt Mooney, Davide Moretti, Todrick Gocher, John Roberson, right? Roberson, excuse me. And then even Jordan Tolbert, a guy that transferred out, Kyler Edwards, a guy that transferred out, come back and represent Texas Tech in this TBT event. I don't think it can go understated in terms of how significant that is, specifically in year one of Grant McCasland. Seeing these guys on the current Texas Tech men's basketball roster be surrounded by some of the legends of this program is invaluable, right? It is invaluable, and I don't think people are talking about it enough in terms of, yeah, you may not see the impact right away on the floor, but those guys knowing that they can make it to the league, that they can play professional basketball and provide for their family here by going to Texas Tech and playing in the Scarlet and Black is instrumental, right? In terms of the success and the foundation that Grant McCaslin is trying to fix a little bit, if we're being honest about it. I think it's pivotal, right? And you can't understate how big that is long-term for Texas Tech in terms of what Grant McCaslin is trying to do with this team. And it's just really, really cool to see all these guys back. Again, I mentioned it. You got Jarrett Culver back. You've got Zaire Smith, Adonis Arms, Jay Crockett was there, Aaron Ross, and so many others, right? Like, I believe it was 9 generations of Texas Tech head coaches were represented on just the team alone, right? And that doesn't include guys that are coming back and just seeing what's going on with the program and being really immersed in this whole TPT process that Texas Tech is going through right now. I think it's just unbelievable, the support. And Lubbock, Texas held it down last night as well, but got to boost those numbers up in terms of attendance, and I'm sure they will on Friday night. Once again, let me ask you one word to describe night 1 of the Air Raiders in the TPT at the USA. Just unbelievable. So many feels, nostalgia, so much was going on last night at the USA. And it was just really, really cool to watch. A couple of the things that really stood out to me in terms of just, I mentioned a couple earlier, but Mooney to Owens, I forgot how cool that was. In terms of just watching that. Also, shout out to Tariq Owens. Got a jumper now. He had a little bit of a jumper when he was at Tech, but even more so now, and he's still an athletic freak, and so is Jordan Tolbert. They combined for 7 blocks last night. Just unbelievable. Zach Smith dunks. Forgot how cool those were, right? John Roberson leading the way, being a veteran guard. I forgot how much fun it was to watch him just do a lot of fun things on the USA floor, right? Like, he is so in control at all times. It's almost annoying. Like, and I mean that in a very respectful way. It's almost annoying how put together he is on the floor, because I'm not put together like that in any aspect of my life. So it is really cool to see that. But there were just so many nostalgic filled moments. Kyler Edwards shooting a 3, Davide Moretti just getting subbed in, right? Todrick Gocher making a jump shot, right? There were Kravick being back on the floor. There were just so many guys. Then obviously having Devion Warren too. It was just so cool to see these guys back on the floor. And it really made me think back to the time where things were really starting and you could see this program going in the right direction. A lot of these guys are the reason that Texas Tech men's basketball is known for what they've done the past few years, right? Like, simple and plain. A lot of these guys were here during the ugly days, but they kept the program a little bit relevant. And then there's some guys that helped them take it to the national stage, right? And it was just really cool seeing all of those guys on the floor together. I do want to say this, though, before we get out of here. Shout out to Grant McCasland. He was on the TBT TV broadcast talking about various things in Texas Tech men's basketball, his ties to the Lubbock. Talking about how he had the dirt in his mouth all the way dating back to the late 90s, early 2000s. Obviously, his wife went there, answered a ton of questions in terms of how important it is, what we just talked about previously in this video, how important it is to see the current players, have them be able to see these guys come back, and how much the Texas Tech men's basketball program means to them. That's pivotal in terms of building a culture and having those guys around and being available, whether that's just over the phone, social media, whatever it is. Seeing that buy-in, right, to the program for these guys currently on the team was huge. And by the way, shout out to those guys for being there last night. Some of them were there. I saw Joe Toussaint, Drew Steffi. Don't want to forget anybody, but those were 2 that I definitely saw. And then I think Williams was there as well. So a lot of guys were there to support those guys. And I do want to say this. Grant McCaslin's a smart man for various reasons. But maybe in the top 10, he said Evie Mays is his favorite place to eat in Lubbock. Shout out to him. That is a GOAT answer right there. Best barbecue I've had in my entire life. I'm not even exaggerating. Just a great answer by Grant McCaslin. So I wanted to give him a shout out on there. And now I'm probably going to go eat some barbecue for lunch. So there you go. Again, Texas Tech will play on Friday night, July 21st at 8 p.m. at United Supermarkets Arena against Team Enchanted. Hey, get there if you can. If you can't, watch it on ESPN Plus. Follow along on social media. You can follow me at RCMB323 right there. We've also got some more TPT content here on the channel. Go listen to what Todrick Gocher thinks about this team. I also gave a preview of the entire roster in another video. Those will be down in the link in the description below. But one more time, one word to describe night 1 of the Air Raiders in the TPT at the USA. For me, pure nostalgia, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down in the comments below. I am RC Maxfield reminding you, if you want the latest breaking news and rumors with Texas Tech athletics all year long, join the fastest growing community of Texas Tech fans here on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button to stay in the know on Texas Tech athletics all year long right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.